shit, we're back. Hello, welcome to the extremely late winter update. I wanted to do this earlier, however it was incredibly cold and I ended up not doing it because it was cold and I didn't feel like it. So you're getting one late. It just snowed about an inch last night, which to some of you may seem like a big deal, but it's really not that big of a deal. Kind of sucks because we were having some really good weather for the last few days, but you know, now it looks like it's the middle of winter again and it's fucking March, so that's pretty cool. You got the boys, they're still doing good. We got a new boy. His name's Abe, originally named Gabe. Obviously I changed his name to Abe as I have a best friend named Gabe, and that would be kind of strange to have a dog named the same thing as your a good friend of yours. So I changed his name to Abe. He's a Husky Lab mix. He's less than a year old. We don't really know how old he is. He came from a family member that couldn't take care of him anymore. Pretty cool dude. He's not aggressive towards the animals. He just likes to play with them and sniff them and stuff. Even these chickens, he pinned one once. One of them got out over here, you know, this trash can that's got fucking charcoal in it. And he just fucking pinned him and sniffed him, and the chicken was like fucking freaking. I'm surprised he didn't die of a heart attack. But he didn't rip his guts out or anything like that, so that was pretty cool. So we got these boys. I need to clean the inside of their coop really badly. However, it's not warm enough yet because it keeps hovering below freezing and it keeps it's not ideal. However, pretty soon, I think next week, it's supposed to be in the 40s most of the time. So we're doing that. They figured out how to go over here and they enjoy being over here. If we look, there might be one. Oh, there might be one under. Is he under there? Oh, there's a few under there right now. They like going under there and laying eggs, which I don't mind because it's pretty clean under there. Eggs are good quality that they lay under there. It's better than in the coop, in my opinion. We'll have to see how that goes in the springtime and summertime. Might be a little too damp under there, but we're gonna have to see. This is a pretty fucking horrible time of year right now. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. I originally wasn't gonna film this video because right now we're standing on probably 2 inches of solid ice and snow. So we're not on the ground right now, we're off the ground, and it's gonna be like that for another like month or so, maybe a little bit less. The thing that sucks about that is nothing decomposes because it's not in the correct temperature for things to decompose right now. And basically there's a layer of shit on the ground and there's nothing that can be done about it because it's just stuck on the ice and the freaking out. And it needs to melt before it can decompose and fucking compost. So it looks really bad, but with this new layer of snow it doesn't look as bad, so you're getting this video. So you can be thankful for that, I guess. It really pissed me off. I had some socks up. It was really nice. Like, look at that. That sun's nice. However, when it snowed, it rained at first and then snowed on it. So these are basically fucking rock hard socks. So they're not going anywhere for a while. I gotta wait for them to melt again and then dry. So that's gonna be about another week before I get to use those socks. If I took them off a day before, they would have been fine. However, I'm a fucking idiot and I didn't do that. There's also a blanket, or not a blanket, fucking towel. That's like I call it a sump towel. I don't use this for bathing. I use it for cleaning shit and water off the floor. Sump towel. Looks like shit. It was really wet because I was cleaning something, being assaulted. Oh shit! Oh shit! Alright, so there you go. That's really the biggest change there. I guess I'll highlight. I built, I don't remember if that was in the last video, but I built that little shed thing. That is a pallet that is suspended on a concrete block that I accidentally broke because I was trying to move them. They were frozen and I hit them with a sledgehammer and they fucking broke, which I should have probably expected, but I'm fucking retarded. So I built that. I keep the hay over, the straw over there, generators under there, and I have reserve gas and kerosene. They like to hang out over there because that's where I keep the straw. However, they're really fucking up the straw pile, so I'm probably gonna have to do something about that. Also probably worth noting, I mounted this propane tank on the wall so I can use propane inside for cooking, which I will cover in a second. I want to put a roof on this, which, you know, I have ready right there. That's not long enough, so I'm gonna have to take some 2x4s and extend that out a little bit so I can put the roof on top of that. I don't necessarily know if it's gonna help that much. I might just put a cap on top of the propane tank. This is a really good quality of life improvement. I'm really glad I did this. I'll demonstrate the inside now. Alright, so I want to get this video over with, so I'm just going to be honest with you. The floor's kind of fucking dirty. I usually sweep about once a week, once every 2 weeks. just to keep it kind of clean in here. I was going to do it today, but like I said, I have a lot of shit I need to do today, so I wanted to get this out of the way so I could just get this done so you guys could see what's been going on. A lot of big changes in here, a lot of big changes. I mean, when you're spending pretty much all of your time, not all of your time, I spend a lot of time outside, but when you spend a significant chunk of your time inside because it's miserable outside, is there a way I can have the window not look like this? Oh, that doesn't help much. All right, well, you're going to have to deal with that, I guess. Whoa, man. You make your living spaces a lot better when you only have 12 feet by 12 feet and you're trying to get by. So biggest change, this whole thing here, my bed used to be lofted on that right there, and I had like a desk and shit under there. I did not like that setup. Two big reasons. First of all, sleeping on an elevated bunk, if you're trying to stay on top of predators and shit, it increases the amount of time it takes to get out of bed on the ground, outside to, ward off a predator. Increases the amount of time from about 5 seconds to 45 seconds to a minute. In about a minute, my entire flock could be dead. So you want to be able to get out of bed as fast as possible to deal with predators. So sleeping on the bottom floor part is the best. Now this is a futon I had. Like I said, I owned a house, so I have a lot of furniture that is currently being used by other people, which I will have to move here pretty soon. But this is something I owned, and it's really nice, good quality. I just moved it in here, put it under the bed, and my computer setup's right here. The laptop on a fucking TV tray. Really not bad. It's really comfy. I really enjoy it. Makes reading a lot nicer. I enjoy reading on that chair too. You get better sunlight there. But at night, when you're laying down getting ready for bed, sometimes it's nice to read by the lamplight. I didn't have a good setup for reading by lamplight before. I usually just put the lamp on my thigh and then read the book on this chair, which is kind of uncomfortable. But now I get perfect reading light with this configuration when I'm laying down. So that's pretty cool. I moved the backpacks over here because I didn't want them to block the door anymore. Biggest change, obviously, I added a second tier to this. This is a pantry now because I wanted a place to store food. I'm going to address it. The coronavirus thing, not particularly worried about it. I'm in a township that has less than one person per square mile right now. However, I am somewhat mildly concerned with the mid to long-term economic possibilities of it, including a potential layoff from my job for a temporary period of time. We don't know if because I work at a summer camp. We don't know what the hell is going to happen, so if I get laid off for a month or two, I want to be able to know that I'm good. And I wanted to start a stockpile of food anyways because it's a good idea just in general. Who fucking knows what happens, A lot of shit can happen in your life. Always good to have some food. So I got some shit stocked up here. I'll explain my reasoning in a minute, just in case you're curious about doing the same thing. But basically, I kind of wanted to do this for a while. I wanted to get started on fucking keeping some shit on hand, just to make sure. Oh fuck, run low on battery. Just to make sure that I'm squared away. So basically, my thought process here. I might have to turn the flash on because it's kind of dark under here, but I might be able to get by with just pointing at shit. Basically, my thought process here. I've got some bulk grains up there. I got rice and some fucking pinto beans in those fucking 5-gallon buckets. What you want to do when you are stockpiling food for any reason is you want to make sure that you've got quality and quantity. So now the big thing with rice and beans is you can do a lot of things to them to make them taste a lot better. You can crack eggs over them. I mean, I get fucking basically free eggs. And I get a lot of them. Like, I get a fucking lot of eggs. Holy shit, dude. And, like, I got fucking cream of mushroom here. Very good additive if you want to make some fucking really good stews and soups. Cream of chicken. I got some fucking canned fish. Some vegetables and other shit like that. Just, again, quality of life shit. Canned goods. Definitely nice. If you rotate your stock out. I've got a pretty decent pile here. And, if every week you just replace what you used, they'll cost you about the same as it costs to go grocery shopping anyways. So it's really not that bad. You have an upfront investment. You're basically covered. If anything bad happened to me, I could basically be a NEET for fucking... I think I have enough shit here probably for like 3 months if I really stretch it out 3-4 months. So that'd be pretty cool. I also eat very infrequently now just because I fucking just don't feel like it, I guess. I don't know. So it probably would last even longer than that. I don't know. I've been making bread in that charcoal grill outside. I would like to, in the near future here, start using this Dutch oven to make bread because it's much more efficient. You have to keep it in there for longer, but you use less charcoal. So I want to start doing experiments with that. I haven't done any of that yet. However, I'll probably start doing that soon, probably this coming week, because I go through bread pretty quickly because it's very filling. Another great thing to keep in mind, keep flour and wheat on hand so you can make bread. Very, very filling, very delicious. I'm probably going to have a slice after this video is over. I keep feed up here too, stockpile of feed. These are opened bags. I'm going to keep extra bags up here. I don't really have any extra bags right now. But, you know, you got your basic shit, you know, basic supplies, very simple stuff. You don't have to go crazy. You know, this might look fucking ape mode, but it really isn't that bad. It's probably all together cost me like $200. So, you know, really, you kind of think about that, I guess, if you're, you know, in a position where it might be tumultuous over the next few months. But anyways, big improvements. I used to store my groceries and shit on this thing. I'm filling it with books now because I had an overflow of books. And I got books at a different place. I got to start moving here. But I keep tea and then seasoning. I was debating whether or not I want to keep the seasoning shelf here. But I like keeping the tea on this shelf. So I decided, hey, fuck it. I just take this shortest shelf and turn it into a seasoning shelf. I've got more seasonings upstairs. I like to keep a good stockpile of seasonings as well. But yeah, so there's that. This has been nice. A lot of ashes in there, real gunked up. I got to do a good clean of that, but I'm not sure if I'm done using it yet, so I'm going to keep waiting. Nice thing about this place right now, this might sound horrible if you're not accustomed to living in a basically squalor all the time. It is currently 25 degrees outside, and it is 45 degrees inside right now. I do not know why, and I'm really glad that this is the case, but these intermediary temperature ranges, it stays above 40 in here, which is incredibly uncomfortable if you're not used to it. But because I've been living like this for so long, I actually don't really mind being in a 40-degree room. I enjoy sleeping in a 40-degree room, to be honest with you. I kind of enjoy sleeping near freezing temperatures. It's really comfortable to me, and I can see why some people would not like that, but I personally enjoy that. So, I moved this table over here. It's not clean right now. Again, I'm just kind of getting this out of the way, so you'll get a better picture of what this place is going to look like in the spring when I do the spring update in fucking 3 days or whatever the fuck. But yeah, we're on the verge of some very serious reorganization efforts in here, so that's pretty cool. Trying to think of anything else worth talking about on this floor. I don't think so. Oh yeah, probably worth noting. This pipe is way different. So I had a barometric damper on here, which made absolutely no fucking sense because this pipe is fucking 8 feet tall. And there is no barometric changes within the 8 feet that the pipe runs. So I took the thing out and I installed a physical damper, which in here there's a metal disc. And when you have it like this, it's fully open. So you have a full stack coming out. So when you're starting the fire, you want the smoke coming out. You want airflow coming down. Gets the combustion going, and then as it gets going, you turn it sideways, and that helps keep the hot air down, stops it from going up the chimney, and it slows the rate of combustion. So, like, this thing gets this place really warm. If you slow it down, temperature gauge here, if you keep it around about 300 degrees, 350, perfect temperature in here once it's up to temp. Doesn't get it too hot. Keeps it about 70 to 80 degrees in here. That's personally a little too warm for me because I'm used to living like a fucking ice troll. However, you know, for an average person, that's like ideal. There's also a mirror here. I still look homeless because he still can't see the ground. So, there you go. We'll take a look at the upstairs. Forgot to point out real quick. So, that propane line runs in through here, up through where the electricity comes in. I need to fill that gap, but not really a big deal right now. It comes in here through this line. I've got it piped to this Coleman stove. Now, these say that you're not supposed to use them inside tents or whatever the fuck. Now, I would like to personally do tests for yourself. I'm not saying to just do this and then die. I've got a carbon monoxide detector right there, and I do my cooking in this area, like right here. And I have never gotten a reading from this thing from using this, and I do get it when I first start this thing up, because it produces a lot of carbon monoxide at first, not dangerous levels because it reduces over time, but this has never triggered even 1 part per million in that fucking reader, so I have not had any issues with it. Also worth noting, I updated the electrical system. I'm probably gonna have to turn the flash on back here. Hold on. All right, here we go. So I updated the electrical system here. So this is normal. I've got the double switch. This goes to the inverter with the battery, and then this comes from the generator outside, GFCI unit. And now I have it broken out. This is a false plug, basically. You take it and you wire it to a typical NMB. This is the regular NMB line, and I got it hooked up down there. If you see, that is a regular outlet wall plate right there. And I actually have house wiring that goes all the way through here. There's one behind this futon, because like I said, this used to be a desk area. Let me turn the flash. Nah, fucking, I'm not gonna bother. Now I've got actual light switches here. Now this is really convenient, because this turns the light, that one right there, turns that one on. I have a light up in the attic that turns on with that one, and I have an exterior light that I turn on with that one. I'll show that to you real quick. Right there, it actually it lights up this area pretty well, and I want to put one on that side too, but that'll happen in the future. So that's not bad. I just forgot to point that out, and I'll show you upstairs now. So we got the attic up here. There's the light that I was talking about. Now that box is wired so that way the one on the left is controlled by the second switch, and then the one on the right, which goes over to that bulb right there, is controlled by the other one. Just typical house wiring. If you want to learn about that, go watch a video on it. And I got this battery charger down here. This is a nicer charger than the one I had before. Has a 10 amp option. Very nice, charges up quickly. And 10 amp is technically still a slow charge, so it doesn't really damage the battery. This is a different battery than I had before. The old one is back there. It was a big-ass car battery. This is actually a deep cycle marine battery, which is what you're supposed to use in a configuration like this. Yeah, this is the same inverter I got from Walmart for dirt cheap. And it works really well. Unfortunately, batteries are not efficient when it's cold, and because these things are a solid mass of sulfuric acid and whatever the electrolyte they use is, I don't even know. It takes a really long time for it to warm up. So basically, if it gets cold in here, this battery's cold and it doesn't last as long, which kind of sucks. However, in the warmer months, this is a really nice system. This thing isn't as loud. This is louder when it's cold. I have no idea why. Probably the fans. And it's yeah, I keep other shit up here. Oil, dish soap, laundry detergent, other forms of lubricants and tools. Just basic stuff. Oh, AF lock. Oh shit. Oh fuck. All right. They got some buckets. I got this many eggs in the last week and a half. So like I said, I'm getting a lot of fucking eggs, and I got those 2 down there. And I don't even think they're in their peak yet, because it's still fucking really cold outside. Sheepskin back there. I have to do an oxalic acid bath on that still, but it's been salted for the last 2 months, so it's been fine. Some sugar, backup grains for the chickens, some oyster crackers, and some other buckets full of disparate food stuff and spices. So it's kind of, this area is going to get really good. Really well organized after I finish figuring out what the hell I'm going to do with everything down here. So this is going to look really nice in the spring update, but right now it just looks like a bunch of fucking random bullshit spread around. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it is real beautiful out here. Absolutely. Look at that. It's nice. Looks like a winter wonderland. Except it's fucking March, and I've been dealing with this for the last 5 months. I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest with you. But for those of you who aren't used to it, I'm sure this looks real beautiful. Real, hey, real fucking beautiful. But I'm ready for it to not look like this anymore, personally. Now, I've been slowly working on a trail through the woods here to go back to the sheep. I used to use the road, but kind of prefer it this way. It's a nicer walk. Unfortunately, we're coming up on an area here that will not be very passable in the near future. It might not be right now. We'll have to see in about a second. Ooh, beautiful shit out here. Yeah, this is a tributary, little creek area that is extremely wet. Oh, fuck me. Example of the snow right now. Look at that. thighs right there, foot's down there. So yeah, but this is a marshy area, tributary. Creek runs in from that direction, runs into the pond that you can't see over there, and let's get a little bit closer to where the fucking, oh, even the dogs having trouble with this shit. Oh, look at that. Oh my god, man, fuck. Yeah, here's where the don't pull me into this now. That's where the creek is. Froze over a bit because it was cold last night, but that's where beaver dam right there too. It's not active anymore, but it was there. That's where it comes into. It's real miserable over here. I don't think I'm going to be able to go past this in the summer without some serious serious work. Now, worth noting here, so you'll see on some of these some very obvious shows that some debarking's been going on. This is from snow hares, squirrels, and deer, except deer usually graze cambium from this height. Grazing on cambium, which is a very nutrient-dense portion of the tree just below the bark, and they usually focus on these smaller ones because the bark is, you know, thinner and they can chew through it a lot easier. But you know, when you see something like that in the woods, some animals trying to get through the winter. Pretty brutal out here. You want to talk about areas that look like shit? I cannot even begin to tell you how bad this fucking place looked before it snowed. There are basically highways of shit on top of the ice that cannot fucking decompose because the ice has to melt first. So it's been fucking really annoying. Got a boy over here, some boys in there, and I don't know where the other one is. Probably over here. But you know, this area is going to look really great in about like 2 months. But right now it looks like fucking ass. But you know, I've been pretty impressed so far with how well things have done. I mean, none of these animals have even sort of affected. These are pretty minimal shelters, you know. Talk about this boy. So this is the buckling. Forget how old he is now, but he's probably 6-7 months old. There's Daly. But he's getting pretty tough, pretty big. Abe. He's getting pretty big boy. He's getting horns growing in. However, they attempted to do the thing where you stab him in the head to stop the horns from growing with the hot iron. It didn't work. Now he's got fucked up horns, so you know that's kind of cool. But he's doing pretty good health-wise. Sexually mature, we know that at this point. Demonstrates the Fleming response. Just really interesting. He used to be really nice and cuddly. Now he's kind of a giant asshole. It's probably going to keep getting worse. Sheep wants to come in there for some reason. I don't think the dynamic's going to work out very well. But yeah, he's doing good. Oh, there's where the other sheep was. He's back there. There's Dally, the doe. She's doing good. Scoping. Probably doesn't want to be outside right now because it's windy and fucking shit. So I don't blame them. They do not like the dog very much, but the dog does not harm them. So it's going to be okay. What the fuck? What's your problem, dude? But yeah, they kind of just only hang out over here right now because you got the feeder over there, water there. There we go, now they're coming out. Where did my dog go? God, fuck. Yeah, he just kind of wandered off. He does that sometimes. He always comes back, but I always worry about what he does in the meantime, trying to get him to not fucking leave. Pretty young, you know, that's just how they are. Just ran off over there. He usually does that, but, you know, always a little nervous because I don't want fucking with the neighbor's pets or my chickens or anything like that. Even though he wouldn't do anything, he's just, he was a relatively big dog. Kind of, I don't know if I'd say threatening. He's kind of retarded looking, but anyways, boys are out now. See them a little bit better. They're getting pretty comparable in size. Their ridges are about equal heights now. If you look, they're standing about equal height. I don't know why they're fucking. Probably the dog. But he's a little shorter. You know, he's got a little bit more to grow still. But And if you want to talk about size comparison, he's fucking way bigger than he used to be. He's got a pretty bitchin' goatee. And, you know, she's been kind of the same. But, yeah, sheep have kind of been, you know, nothing too different about the sheep. But, yeah, this area is a nice, it's a nice ridge line. Again, looks wonderful. Looks great. Looks like a winter wonderland. Except I'd prefer it to look like a spring wonderland right about now. It's going to be a little bit, evidently. So, real quick, a little barn area here. We built this right before winter hit. Definitely has been useful. Keep hay here. We're out right now. We're going to restock probably tomorrow. But yeah, I got this kerosene heater for free from a guy in Ashland. It works really well. Really great as an emergency source in case it drops down to like fucking -30. Always good to have that on hand. Got kerosene over there, some tools. You know, really just typical kerosene lamp. We got a feed log here. Keep track of what's going on for accounting purposes. Just to see track habits and consumption and all that. So we get a better idea of what's happening, you know, what it takes to get through a winter, especially when it comes to self-sufficiency stuff, growing hay and feed and whatnot. It's important to know shit like that. So when it comes to getting them water, there's a little creek right here that runs off that tributary that's over there, just kind of eases through. I take a hatchet, break it down, I get 2 buckets, fill one bucket from the creek into the other bucket, take the bucket over there, fill their water. This runs for most of the winter except for the driest parts when it's, you know, freezing cold and the water doesn't melt. And I have a further away point that I use for that, which I'll show you in a minute. So we're in the pond area now. This creek here is never dry, ever. In fact, you can see it running right now despite the fact that it's below freezing right now. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. These mounds that I'm standing on right now are originally about 4 or 5 feet high off there, so I had to tie a hatchet to a big stick so I could break the ice and then lower buckets using rope to get water. Pretty fair distance away from the sheep pen, so you have to carry it all the way back there. It takes several trips. You know, good workout, but this is the middle of a fucking marsh normally, and there are no leaves on anything right now, so it's incredibly windy and it's very hostile. Dog is making a very bad move right now. Very, very bad move right now. But yeah, here's the marsh in the middle of the winter. A little less enchanted looking than it looks in the any other season, but you know, hey, animals got to drink. There's where a lot of them come to drink. I think that's where I'm going to end this. The sun just came out. It's a good ending point. Well, that's about it. Join me in about a month when I do the spring update, and hopefully things will look a lot nicer. Can we get a little experimental with the camera? How high can we go? How high can we go? Holy shit! Oh, hey, I'm at work. Guess what? Childcare, which is, well, is there any way to make me look good in this? Let's film from this angle. Fuck it. Childcare is closing. That's my main job, is cleaning childcare. At the end of the day. So, yeah, basically my hours are going to get cut. Might get laid off if it gets bad enough. It's closed for at least a week, but we have enough shit to go around for a while. So, let's see how that goes. It can happen to you. Get ready. Kind of glad I did what I did. Good echo over here. So, yeah, just letting you know. Don't regret doing what I did. Maybe you want to do the same. Up to you. See ya.